All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for hopping on tonight's call. I almost just hit end because I'm looking for screen share and my brain's not working. I don't know what's happening right now. All right. Let me share my screen. See if I can do it. That's not right. One of these days, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know why it's so hard for me. Okay, there we go. I'm good now. All right. So tonight's team call is September 13th, which I can't even fathom. I feel like the last month has gone by so fast. I don't understand why. Maybe just because everyone's our schedules have changed because of school or something. I don't know, but I just feel like time's flying and it's like slow down. All right. Our team vision. Massive belief with massive action creates massive impact, helping as many people as possible create their comeback stories. That is what we're all about. Um, what's new? No idea why that says that on there. OBD, whatever that is. Get rid of that. All right. We still have our $20 off promo codes. We get them till the end of the year. So utilize them best to the best of your ability, leverage them with your people. Don't make it super known that you have them. Just use them when people are interested to just kind of give them that little extra boost if they're kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes that's all it takes is that little extra $20 and all of a sudden they're like, okay, great, I'll do it. Monthly focus is using our tracker. Just use the tracker. I know that sometimes I don't know if you got ours I'm like this. I use the tracker. I'm really great for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden I start to a day, I don't use it. And then 2 days go by, I don't use it. And then all of a sudden it's been 3 weeks and I haven't used it. And I'm like, crap, I got to go back. So it's all about just creating that habit, which is going to lead us into tonight's call. But before that, BOD and Body membership pricing, they're reducing the price of that package, the bundle together, which is amazing because they're dropping it from $298 to $179, which is huge. There's a FAQ all about that with all the little details, but check that out because I think that is just such a great, and also what will happen is the challenge packs that include the BOD and Body for the year are also dropping in price. So check the FAQ. I can't remember. I should have put it on here. I forget when they said that was going to happen, but I think it's this week sometime. So check the FAQ and make sure you know those, especially the challenge packs, because they're dropping from, I think they're over $300 right now for the challenge pack, and they're dropping down into the twos. So that does make a big difference to people. So that's really awesome. The new program, XB Sweat and Sculpt, that sample workout is live. So go into Vimeo or Online Office and you can get the sample of that and share it with your people. Do it, record it, throw it on your stories, do all that good stuff. And there are sample workouts available now for all of the Open Fit workouts. So there's not all of them. 21 of the Open Fit workouts now have sample workouts that you can get on Vimeo, and they are in the Online Office too. It said I didn't look it up myself, but the FAQ did say that you can get them on the Online Office, and they are also on the Vimeo. So that's really awesome because that means that if there's 21 new free ones, and I think we already had about 20 free sample ones, we have almost a month of free workouts now that we can utilize. So I would personally get all those links together. Actually, I'll probably end up doing this and then I'll probably just end up sharing it with the team, but getting all the links together and then using it for people who just aren't ready, like the people that are like, I don't know, or I can't afford it, maybe next month. Give them a month of workouts and add them to the group, because if they're on those workouts, if you've done any of those sample workouts, right after the sample workout, they always talk after either about Shakeology or Energize or Beachbody on Demand. They promote themselves on those workouts. So you get people in the group, get them doing workouts, feeling better. That's a great way to get someone started to want a challenge pack with all those samples, because that's crazy. That's like a full month worth now of workouts that we can give people. Off to the races group is Erin, Kelly Gillis, Christy, and Matt Mayer. They are in the off to the races. Congratulations, you guys. That is awesome. And the comeback queens and one king. Erin has 4 Success Club points. Kelly Gillis 2, Christy 2, Matt 2, and Stephanie Mayer has 2. And new recruits, Kelly has 1, Christy has 1, and Matt has 1. Awesome job, you guys. I know that this last couple of weeks has been kind of tough, kind of slow, because people are so busy getting kids back to school and they all feel overwhelmed. So these numbers, the fact that these numbers are even up on the board is awesome. So awesome job. All right, so tonight's call is going to be a little different. I'm going to talk about habits. And mostly this is going to be kind of like a training, I guess. And this is for you, but I also really want you to learn this, understand this, so that we can use this for our clients and customers. Because I just finished a book called The Power of One More, and there was a chapter all about this in the book. And I found this to be so helpful and fascinating, really. And it made things make so much sense about when we have customers. Well, first, let me just go back to this. So habit, what's a habit? A habit is a regular tendency or practice, right? Something that we can kind of just do without thinking. That is a habit. It can be good and it can be bad. I have a really bad habit of biting on the inside of my cheek. I do it all the time. And I have been trying to stop for months, like really purposely trying to stop. And it is really hard to break a habit. And now I know why after reading this. So we're going to talk a little bit about the science behind habits. So our brains are always looking to conserve energy. So that's why our brains love a habit, because a habit is like, let's say, when you go in the bathroom to take a shower in the morning and you turn the water on, when you get in the shower, like you don't have to think about what to do, right? You just automatically go into autopilot and you just do your routine. Whatever that is for you, that's your routine in the shower. And that's why we also come up with like great ideas in the shower, because our brain has this like free time to think of other things, because you don't have to think about washing or doing your hair or whatever, because you have a habit and you already know what you're doing. Your brain just puts you through the motions. But the interesting thing is that when you start that habit, when you start something that your brain already knows how to do, and you go into that autopilot mode, your brain releases serotonin. And serotonin makes you happy, right? Serotonin is like a comforting chemical. It makes your body feel comfortable. It's a relaxing chemical. So when you go into these habits, that's why they're so easy. The reward is that you're getting serotonin from allowing your brain basically to take a break, because your brain goes on autopilot. You get serotonin, you relax, you think of awesome ideas in the shower that you get out and instantly forget, because, suddenly your brain has to work again. At least that's what happens to me. But that is why habits are so hard to break. And like the biting of my cheek is really hard, because now I know when I do that, the serotonin is soothing me. It's basically an anxiety coping mechanism for me. And it soothes me when I do it, because my brain's releasing serotonin when I do it. And that's why the bad ones are really hard to break. So forming new habits. And this is where it comes down to helping our customers and ourselves. I have customers tell me all the time, like, I can't stick to it. I can't stick to it. I can't stick to that routine, or I can't stick to this meal plan, or I can't do this, right? Or I can't get up early, or I can't, come home and do my workout because other stuff happens. And that's all true for them, right? They really believe that that's true for them. And it's because when you do something new, so For example, I'm going to use my own example. The first time I ever decided I was going to get up really early and do a workout, I remember it was 21 Day Fix, and I was doing it, and I was getting up and starting my workout at 5 a.m., but I had to be on a Zoom with Taryn and some other people. But at the time, Taryn to me was like, I have to show up because she'll be mad if I don't show up. So I was like, I need to like be on every morning at 5 a.m., and I had never gotten up that early to work out before. And I hate getting up in the morning. If anyone knows that about me, I am not a morning person. So I had to figure out, like, how am I going to do this? And so the alarm would go off, and every morning the alarm would go off, and I would have 5 million things and reasons why I didn't want to do it. I didn't get enough sleep the night before, so I'm tired, or my back hurts because I have, back issues, or I can't find my sneakers in the dark, or like all these things, right? And they're legitimate things that are real, but I think of these things because the second you try to form a new habit, it's like a path. Like when you are outside and you walk the same path over and over and over again, that's like a habit, right? And it gets all worn down and it's super easy to walk that path. But if you decide to make a new path, like a new habit, now you have to trudge through long grass, whatever, and you have to make that path. And at first, it's not easy to get through. The more often you do it, then it gets more padded down, more padded down, more padded down. And it's the same as our brain. Our brain, to create a new path, a new habit, it is going to say no at first. When you first try to do that new thing, your brain's going to be like, oh, no, I don't want to do it. It releases cortisol. So when a habit releases serotonin, which makes you happy. Trying to form a new habit, doing something new, it releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So when your brain releases cortisol, you go into the fight or flight, which we probably all heard of, the fight or flight reaction, which is you instantly are in like protective mode. So your brain is going to start thinking of all the reasons why you can't do that thing, no matter what it is, whether it's getting up early to do a workout or using your tracker, right? Like no matter what it is, if it is a new habit that you're not used to doing, your brain is going to give you reasons why you can't do it because it's in that fight or flight stage and it wants you to stop and go back to what's comfortable so that your body will release the serotonin and be at ease again. So, like I said, so you think of all the excuses, right? Like I can't work out because of whatever. And as soon as you hit that snooze button and say, you know what, I'm not going to get up today to do it, your body instantly stops releasing cortisol, releases serotonin, and it goes straight from the fight or flight right into relaxed and calm again. And that right there is exactly why we have such a hard time sticking to new routines and creating new habits, because it is so easy. Our brain wants us to be in our comfort zone all the time. And this is why, I mean, for me, some of it is kind of obvious, right? Like we know that we make up excuses when we don't want to do things. But when I realized like the actual chemical reasons why this was happening for people, not just me, but I know my customers, I thought, okay, this makes it a little easier to handle, right? Because now I can figure out, well, then how do you create a new habit that does stick? How can I help my customers figure out a way to start a new program and stick to it? So you're going to hit the fight or flight phase when you start a new whatever routine, new anything. And that's fine. But as long as we know we can overcome it, we can, pat that path down by just doing it over and over again. As long as we know that, it's easier to push through, because instead of feeling like I'm never going to be able to do this, we know I will be able to do this. It's just going to take some time. I just need to push past this and stick to it. So there's three like actual things that we can do to push past that fight or flight part. And the first is a trigger. So a trigger for, say, like a normal habit is, like I said, like to shower, right? You turn the water on. Turning the water on to your shower is a trigger. That is the thing that instantly makes your brain go into autopilot of showering, your routine. Another thing is like people who are drive to work every day. They get in the car, they turn the key. The second they turn the key of the car on, that puts their brain into autopilot because they've driven to work every day for however knows how long, right? They can do it in their sleep. So that is the trigger. So for me, when I had to start getting up at 5 a.m., I ended up making my Energize the night before. I put it on my nightstand. And in the morning when my alarm went off, the very first thing I did was shut my alarm off, grab my Energize, shake it up, and drink it in my bed, laying down. I don't suggest everyone do that, give you heartburn. But this is what I did. And I didn't realize, I didn't know any of this at the time. But now looking back, I realized that that was my trigger, because that was the thing that said, okay, this means now you're going to do XYZ, whatever was going to follow that. So that was my trigger. So I would drink that and then I would move on to the next thing. But having that one thing, that one trigger, so it could be Energize, first thing in the morning, or maybe it's just water next to your bed that you drink, because water can wake you up. It gets your digestive system moving. It gives you some energy. Or it could be as simple as like having your clothes laid out next to your bed, your workout clothes, so that the second your alarm goes off, your trigger is just picking up your clothes and bringing them into the bathroom to change. Like, it doesn't have to be anything major, but it's just something that you do the same every day before before you have to do whatever it is, that new habit you're trying to create. So the second thing, so after you figure out your trigger, then it's your action. So my action after I drank my Energize was I got dressed, I put my sneakers on, I go to my workout room, I push play. Like, these are just all things that I would normally do, right? Because they just go in that order naturally. But when I started them always with drinking Energize, and then I did them over and over, and I did it every single day for 21 days. After that, I legit could get up at any time and get a workout done in the morning, first thing. And I didn't dread it. And I didn't go into this like list of excuses about why I can't, because I had trained my brain to have that trigger of Energize first thing, to know like, oh, okay, this is good. This is a good thing. So instead of my body releasing the cortisol and getting stressed and anxious about having to do my workout, my body releases the serotonin, and I just got up and I just got dressed and I just did it. And it is a whole nother feeling when you can get up and have that happen versus dreading when your alarm goes off every single morning. And if you don't set a routine and do it enough times to create this new pathway, and you only do it like 3 times a week, or maybe do it for a week and then take a week off, it's not going to work. It has to be something that unless you have if you're doing it 5 times a week, because you're doing it like Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Saturday or something, that will still work. But you can't just do it a couple of times and then a couple of times the next week and a couple of times, because you would need to do that for like, I don't know, 6 months for it to work. It would just take a heck of a lot longer for your brain to realize like this is supposed to be a new habit. The third thing, so it's the trigger, your action, and then there has to be a reward. So when it comes to a workout, that's easy because the reward at the end is endorphins. And no one ever gets to well, I shouldn't say no one. Most people get to the end of a workout and think, oh, I'm so glad I did that, right? Like, you feel good. Usually it makes your day better. It makes your morning better. Or if you're doing it later in the afternoon, a lot of people, like I used to do mine at night, and I used to sleep better, even though some people said you can't sleep after you work out, but I actually would sleep better when I worked out in the evening. So there's a reward to working out. If it's something else, if it's eating right, the reward is going to also be that you're feeling better, right? If someone follows their nutrition plan and they follow it every day, at the end of the day, they're going to, 2 things, feel good, and they're going to be proud of themselves. And that is a big reward too. So when you're helping someone, when you're helping a customer try to figure out a fitness routine, doesn't matter what time of day they're doing it, whatever it is, go back to these three things and help them figure out if they're struggling, help them figure out, okay, well, let's figure out a trigger. Like, what's going to be the thing that you do that's going to start your momentum to do your workout? And then you figure out, okay, what are your following actions? And then make them think about their reward. Like, think about the fact that when they're done, have them acknowledge how they feel, have them notice how they feel, because that is what will help that pathway in their brain to get patted down, like that path, right? Because the more they do it, the more they recognize the pattern, the more that their brain will accept it and turn it into the habit that will release the serotonin versus the cortisol. And so that's repetition, basically. That's what I just said. So that ties the whole thing together, is repetition. And that is probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is the repetition, because it is hard. It is hard to create the new routine, a new habit, but knowing that you can control it with some tools can make it a lot easier and a lot less stressful for customers who've maybe tried to do this 20 times before and have failed. If you can help them by saying, you know what, let's make a plan, do this, commit to this for whatever it is their program's for. They're doing a 20, or even if they're doing like an 8-week program, if they just do this for 3 weeks of it, the rest of it's going to be like piece of cake, because they're going to get to that point where it feels easy to stick to it versus, dragging themselves to work out every day, which we don't want people to feel, because this is a lifelong thing. This isn't a sprint to the finish line, right? Actually, you know what the book said, Jen? The book said that it takes at least 30 days to really make it. And then they said actually 30 days up to 6 months, probably depending on what it is, right? Obviously, some things are going to be a lot harder than others, but for me, it was 21 days. When I did that 21-day fix, it literally just took those 21 days. And then when I did 80-day obsession the next year, I got up at 4:30 and worked out at 4:30, and I could do it. And it wasn't as dreadful as it sounds. Like, it sounds terrible. And I don't look forward to it, but I could do it. I could get up and I didn't dread it when the alarm went off. Which is before I had done the 21 days of retraining my brain. I would never have thought I could have done it. For 80 days, I got up at 4:30, like insane. Like, I actually look back now and think, wow, I can't believe I actually did that. But once you have that habit in place, and once you have those tools in place, it really does make a huge difference in everything, because then you can use it for other things too. And I'm going to use it on my kids now that I know this information. I'm like, oh, all right, we're going to use this in other things. Yeah, Christy, we were totally in the zone. I don't know what that happened. That program completely, like, it was insane. Like, there's so many programs where it's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and half of us like finish it, half of us don't. 80-day obsession, we were all like on it every day.
It was also like you said, it was all of us doing it together. So the energy in like the group was huge. Like, all of the pieces were just fitting for us all to just like go for it. It was so like wild, but everyone was so motivated to do that program. I don't know, it was the energy, it was the excitement, it was just everything just came together. It was the timed nutrition. Like, it was Autumn's group, because she had like this amazing group to like on Facebook that like supported us with the nutrition. It was just all of the pieces were there that someone would need to be successful, but it was also like that inner drive. Like, how am I going to make this routine? How am I going to,
Yeah, I think I think what's funny too is that, and I think back on that program a lot when I'm promoting other programs, because I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, well, if we promote a 21-day program, people will want to do that because that's easy. But in reality, we wanted to do 80-day obsession, not because it was easy, because it was going to be a challenge. And we wanted that challenge. And so that's the funny thing. It's just that you have to find the right people. We just
I was
happened to,
scared to do it. I was genuinely scared. I was so afraid that I was going to fail at it. Like I was gonna come out and be like, doing this 80-day program, I'm gonna rock it. And then like 20 days in, be like, you know, and I didn't want to do that because I was like, so like my pride would have been hit, you know? So I stayed with it because I didn't want to fail, but I did it because everybody else was like supporting me along the way. You know what I mean? And that was
yeah,
huge.
there was definitely something special about like that, not just that program, but like you said, like everything in that moment, like
Yeah.
the energy, the timing and all that.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. All right, that is all I have about it. Does anyone have any questions about this? I'm gonna stop my share. Questions?
That makes so much sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was
Actually,
fascinated.
that because I literally just went through that today. So yeah, thank you.
I know
Oh, that's what it's doing. Okay, so now I can figure out a way to work through it better. So I appreciate that.
yeah, I'm glad that it's helpful. I feel like we all know that starting something new is hard. Like we all know that. We all know that like you have to push past it. But to just understand like why it's so hard is just knowing that information makes it feel like, I don't know, more like you can conquer it, you know, versus not understanding why it's happening and feeling like it's just you. Like I think some people just feel like, well, I'm not motivated enough, or I just don't have the willpower. And that's not it. Like people feel that. I hear people say that to me all the time. Like, I just don't have the willpower to get up every day and work out. And it's not that. It's just that they haven't created that new pathway in their brain to make it easier for them. And just knowing the information, I think, is just helpful. And then, like you said, then you can figure out like how to deal with it then.
And let's face it, life, what's happening in your life makes all the difference, right? Because like you can be half into it, but kind of push yourself and then get yourself going and kind of pick up on that drive. But if something's mentally always weighing you down, you have to deal with that first, right? You have to deal with that because no matter what, you're never going to have the drive to go for it if your brain is always in overdrive with whatever's weighing you down mentally, you know, like whatever stress you have and all that stuff. But, you know, regular life stress that we all have, that's different, right? Because we can all just we all have to deal with some level of stress in our life. That's being an adult, right? Being a parent, whatever. So working out is therapeutic for a lot of people. It is for me, right? But when you're like if you're dealing with something that life's thrown at you, it's like it takes so much just to get that workout done. And if it's not already instilled, like it is in us because we've been doing it so long, like if it's not already instilled, those people that have not created that habit are going to fall off. They're going to fall off because it was not part of their life. It wasn't something that their body expects, that their brain expects, right? So
well, I mean, it's like exactly like you said, if you're going through whatever stressful season of your life, right? And you get up in the morning and you already know like your day is going to be stressful. If you don't have that set up so that your workout is giving you the, you know, serotonin that makes you just ease into it, then it's going to be that fight or flight. And that's just going to push that over like your stress over the edge. And you're going to be like, I can't deal. I don't want to do that. Like, and I hear people say that to me all the time. Like, well, I'm already going through so much right now. I can't add that.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, no, that's not like, yes, it's going to be hard at first, but once you get past it, then it benefits you so much and it helps with all those other things.
Right.
But yes, you're right. Like that, and that is why people fail over and over and over because they're in the right frame of mind. They start the workouts, they get in a groove, they feel great, and then 2 weeks in, life happens. They can't deal, they give it up, And then they have to start over and keep, and it drains people and it burns them out and it makes them feel like they're failures and they can't do it.
Yep.
So just
And
like, yeah, knowing this stuff and then being able to say to our people now, like, I can help you make a plan
yep.
and get you past this so that working out will be like no big deal from now on. And they
Mhm.
probably won't believe you when you
They
say
won't
it.
believe you.
But
Well, some people like
true.
have made it after a while. Yeah, it takes a while. People fall off, but I think as coaches, we have to make sure we make it a point to check in those. Make sure we check in at the end of each week for the first few weeks because if it takes 21 days, those first few weeks are going to be the absolute toughest, and they're going to also what got them there because you inspired them can also intimidate them if they're doing it with you and you're making it look so easy because you've been doing it so long. So I always check in with them and be like, please don't compare your journey to anybody else in the group because this is your journey and you're starting from here, and they're here. So but always checking in with them in some way to make sure that they're not deciding that they're about to fall off, because once they've fallen off, it's harder to get them back because now they've already gotten used to it and, oh, I'm too sore and I'm too this, I'm too that. Keep going without sounding pushy, but I don't know how many times people have said to me, thanks for not giving up on me. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for, this, because if they didn't have someone that they knew was probably going to come back and check again, they may just walk away.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I might put together an email that's maybe like a new challenger week 1 email or something that maybe can talk about what I just kind of talked about like, okay, now you've made it through week 1. These are things that might come up. And this is how I'm going to help you, get past that. And maybe if we just have that in the online office, we can all just, I mean, in the, on the team page, we can all just utilize that, because I think if we tell our customers early on that, be prepared because in a couple weeks, something might happen and, you might fall off, but we can make a plan so that that doesn't happen. Yeah.
And a checklist maybe for new coaches that don't even they're just starting their journey and they're excited to coach, but they don't really know how to support a challenger. They don't know how to they've never been a coach before. They've never maybe been a leader in that way in the wellness industry. So how do you coach somebody once they've signed on? Because it's important once they've signed on not to fall off. You don't want to lose the customers you work so hard to get,
Right. Well, that's
So,
what I mean. I think that if we had some type of like a email for like week 1, new coaches have that would be awesome for new coaches, right? Because then they wouldn't have to worry about, well, what do I say after week 1? Like, what do I say to them, right? It would already be right there. And then it would also give them an idea of like, okay, well, how can I follow up going forward? So, all right, I am gonna call it a night because I gotta get my kid to bed. But because now it's school nights now, and now I keep forgetting that I actually have a child I gotta put to bed. Oh, picture. Let's take a photo. All right, ladies, thank you so much for hopping on, and have a great night.